and welcome to Inside Beds, the show that gives you the lowdown on all that's going on right here at the University of Bedfordshire. Although, let's face it, things have been fairly quiet with the lockdown and everything, but that has not stopped us from putting together an action-packed show. Let's take a look. Coming up in this month's show, Netflix and ill? Is there too much on telly nowadays? Our debate team will be discussing whether or not we've passed peak TV. The show must go on. One UAB student tells us how they've managed to keep performing in a choir despite being in lockdown. Move over Nando's. We'll be showing you how to knock up some nutritious nosh for next to nothing in this week's cookery class. And as lockdown's nearly over, we'll be asking staff and students what their plans are once Boris lets us out to play. Wow, that is a lot to get through, so let's get started. I don't think you need reminding that this year has been a year like no other, and particularly for us uni folks who have had to cope with a new way of learning. This has meant that we've had more free time than ever before, as we've not been able to go out with our mates. Our reporter Nick wanted to see how you've all been passing the time and what you're most looking forward to once restrictions are lifted later on in the year.
On the 23rd of March last year, we entered the first lockdown after Boris Johnson announced that we must stay at home, protect the NHS and save lives. Towns and cities suddenly went from bustling beacons of life to eerie ghost towns. Going out for a walk became our only way of escapism, and we went months without any social interaction. Our lives have changed dramatically since then, what with masks and hand sanitizer now everywhere you go. But I wanted to find out how the staff and students at the University of Bedfordshire have been keeping themselves busy during these weird times, and what are they most looking forward to doing once the restrictions are eased later on this year.
Hi, my name's Christina, and during the lockdown I like to watch a lot of Netflix and workout videos, obviously doing them. Actually, during my first lockdown I lost quite a lot of weight. However, during the second lockdown I gained almost half of it back.
I always wanted to be a multi-instrumentalist, so play more than one instrument. Now I thought I have all this time in a lockdown, why not try another one? So I just bought a ukulele.
Well, during the first lockdowns, to keep myself busy, I did some knitting. You can actually see one of my projects behind me. I did a lot of jobs around the house, like I painted the fence, and then I also took up running. And then during the second and third lockdowns, I've been at uni, so I've had a lot more to keep me busy.
I've been FaceTiming my boyfriend quite a lot. I've been going on walks with my parents and walking my dogs. I've been watching a lot of Netflix, to be honest. I've been spending most of my life in my room. I've been working at McDonald's and a preschool. I've learnt knitting. That's been quite exciting.
So during the pandemic, I used to keep myself busy by playing the piano, singing, dancing, so I can do my hobby.
How do I pass the time in lockdown? Very simple. I have a job, and that is a good thing. It's made the day pass very quickly. When you're busy, time flies, even in lockdown. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go out and play golf because I've missed it. Even just to chat with other golfers. But I'm going to hit the ball around a field with a big stick, and that will make me feel better. Lots of fresh air. And I think I need to get my hair cut.
The thing I'm most excited about doing when the whole lockdown is over and just COVID in general is traveling. I have a lot of friends scattered around Europe and I'm excited to see them.
Forward for the easing of the restrictions, to finally see my beloved ones, my family, my friends, to go to uni, to go to bars, a restaurant.
The thing that I'd say I'm most looking forward to doing is being able to see all my friends and family and going on a night out with my friends, because I turned 18 last year and I haven't been able to experience anything of what an 18-year-old would usually want to do.
Say I look forward to travel more, or even travel at all. I hope. I want to go skiing or kayaking. At this point, I just want to basically go anywhere. And just
When the restrictions are lifted, I think I'm going to look forward just to seeing people, to being social again, to be able to go to university and to like actually attend lectures in person and to get to know people on my course will be really nice. I'm excited to go to the pub, to be social, to go to amusement parks, to go to cinema. Oh, just so excited.
Well, I feel like such an underachiever compared to that lot. I need to learn a musical instrument like ASAP, otherwise this lockdown has been a waste of time. Well, with news of lockdown coming to an end, we'll soon be looking at these events as a thing of the past. How did we keep our sanity? For some, it was creative writing. And that's what we've got for you. Join us on this journey of earphone poetry.
The self. Somehow we got lost at sea, forgetting who we are. It looks like we take some comfort hiding behind a mask. I often wonder, would we wear a silly hat? Would we do as we are told if Miley Cyrus told us that? Who the hell are we in relation to each other? I was taught that every man is supposed to be my brother, and every woman is a flower in a growing state. But if I call a woman that, will she turn around and hate? This seems long and quite complicated, and life right now seems so fabricated. Everywhere's a hashtag or a waste of our time. Everyone with a status post and pouting online. Now is the moment to revisit the self, to knock on its door and check on its health. The self was here before internet browsing, before McDonald's, Will Smith and white sage dowsing. We are functioning amnesiacs until we recall, until we defrag, delete and reinstall. Only then will we know real wealth, as we are prepared to be reintroduced to the self.
Yemi, that was fantastic. There's more poetry later on, so stay tuned. Next up, we have a great story from Julia, one of our UOB first year students, who wasn't going to let a little national lockdown get in the way of her choir singing. If you thought getting together with a big group of people and belting out show tunes was a big no-no in COVID times, think again. Our reporter Nick had a chat with Julia to find out more.
Okay, so to begin with, why don't you tell me about the choir?
I've been in a choir for a long time. And I was always looking for one that was linked to like West End or Broadway and basically just musicals. I never found one before. So when I saw the name of this one, West End Musical Choir, that's like the first thing that caught my eye. I was in love already when I saw they were doing musicals, when I saw they were only like doing all the greatest hits.
You do obviously your rehearsals over Zoom. How do you find that? Does it work well? Is there problems?
I think that is quite hard when you have to like direct the choir through Zoom, when you have to play the instrument and you have to make sure everyone can hear you. But I've been really positively surprised when I saw how they handled it and how they managed it.
What songs have you performed to so far then? What songs have you covered in the choir?
So far, I think we performed 6 songs, I would say. For sure, there was The Greatest Showman, from which we did a virtual performance. We also had a whole Christmas performance. There are many Christmas songs. And then last week, we had a surprise. Every week has a different theme. And we know this theme before, but last week was a surprise. We had a Mamma Mia theme. There was an ABBA impersonation group who were singing to us in a break between rehearsals. We also had like virtual Mamma Mia backgrounds and everything.
How long do the sessions last?
They last around 2 hours. There's like a proper rehearsal. We have 15 minutes of vocal warm-ups, 10-minute break in between, and then like an hour and a half of the rehearsal.
Are you looking forward to going to the choir, I presume, down in London when all of this is over?
I'm looking forward to it because I didn't get a chance to actually join the choir live. I've only been to their Zoom rehearsals. And the rehearsals that they had in person seemed like very energetic and fun. So I hope to join them soon.
What's the thing you've most enjoyed about doing the choir?
I think there are many things I enjoyed. Not only the choice of music, like I said before, I'm very glad we're doing musicals, but also all the things they do in between. They have virtual socials every week. They had movie nights, and even Valentine's Day, we also spend it together. So I think there's like a lot of bonding in this community. I think last month I took a part in a games night, and we had so much fun. There were only like, I think 15 people, but that was so fun. We got to know each other a little, at least. You know, you didn't felt any pressure to know the people. We just enjoyed the time.
How have your musician friends coped this year? Obviously, it's been the music industry has been very hard here.
Yeah, for all musicians, I think that was a very hard period, because they always had some concert, they always had some competitions, and this time they had nothing. One of my friends managed to have a virtual concert on Facebook, and I think that was also available on YouTube. Also, one of my friends who is in a band, they didn't have any concert, but they just, I would say, chose to focus more on their music. They wrote some new tracks they want to release soon when the concerts are back on, and they were working on some music videos. So basically they were just doing some work in advance to have it ready when the restrictions eases, when the lockdown is done.
And we hope that Julia and the rest of the choir are back on stage very soon indeed. Now, us students often get a bad rep when it comes to culinary skills, and if your idea of home cooking is whacking a frozen lasagna in the microwave, then maybe you should pay attention to our next section. So here's a question for you. What do you get when you cross a few courgettes and a tin of beans? The answer is a lot of deliciousness. Take a look.
During these difficult times, it's very important to maintain the healthy function of our body. That's why we thought to include a recipe in this month's episode, which may help boost and strengthen your immune system. These ingredients contain everything you need to keep healthy and your body strong. We'll show you how to prepare them and turn them into something delicious. The meal is courgette boat. First, we start off by washing and frying our spinach. Spinach is rich in vitamin C. Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant that can strengthen your body's natural defenses. Then we add the garlic. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which boosts the disease-fighting response of your body. When that's done, we fry the onion and mushrooms. We use shiitake mushrooms, which is a medicinal mushroom, contains beta-glucans, which have been found to help fight inflammation and balance the immune system. Next, we smash the beans. Beans contain a large amount of proteins, which play a key role in maintaining and repairing your body. When it's all done, we mix our ingredients and pour a little bit of olive oil and season it with salt and pepper. Next, we cut the top and the bottom of our courgettes, and then we cut them in half. Courgettes are rich in vitamin A. Vitamin A is known as an anti-inflammation vitamin because of its critical role in enhancing immune function. After we cut our courgettes, we spoon the inside out. We place them in a baking tray and sprinkle a little bit of olive oil. Now we can start filling our courgettes. Put a bit of cheese, a bit of oil, and some water in the bottom. We put the tray in a preheated oven around 200 degrees Celsius. We bake them for about an hour. Our delicious, healthy courgette boats are ready. Enjoy!
That looked so good and so easy, and more importantly, so cheap. So if you're a hard up student, and let's face it, who isn't, give it a whirl. Now for something completely different. Here with some more earphone poetry, Jessica.
Our manipulative minds are triggered during change. Readjustments to routine discombobulates the brain. But intelligence develops when immersing in the new. Fine-tuning of our superpowers holds the medium to pursue. Routine for humans is important, following the rhythm of our hearts. Keeps the thud of flowing, allowing day and night to pass. But slowing down is true necessity, allowing space for life's creation, granting realizations of pollution and the process of cessation. Pollution is the build-up of the rat race on our earth, constant running for the riches and forgetting of the worth of loved kisses, hugs of families and friends, the pricelessness of warmth and shelter, and the hands that we can lend. Each golden breath, like it's from heaven, has the power to decongest. The nectar of manifestation puts every virus to the test. And when routine within spaciousness balances chaos and order, the seed of life's sweet germination overcomes all mental borders. Gratitude of every chapter life has written in your book, comprehension of the cycle of death and birth that we've mistook. Destruction too is of the cycle, heavenly as much as birth, creating space for the untimely. Thou shalt not fear the gifts of earth. Know thy ego, know thyself, evolution.
Thank you, Jessica, for sharing that with us. And we'll be having some more earphone poetry in our next edition of Inside Beds. Now, in this month's edition of What's Got Us Talking, our reporter Nick will be investigating whether there is too much TV. I think most of us have been guilty of watching maybe a little too much TV in the past year, but that's only because there is so much TV to watch. But is there too much? Let's find out.
We can all admit that we enjoy sitting in front of the telly and catching up on our favourite shows. But do you ever think that nowadays that there's too much TV? A few years ago, the president of a US TV channel predicted that scripted TV was headed for a burst bubble and couldn't sustain a crazy pace of creative output. Many journalists have commented on the matter, and they all seem to suggest they were struggling to keep up with all the latest shows. With more and more companies entering the market, all releasing brand new content for us to watch, it seems as though the bubble keeps on getting bigger. I wanted to see what the students at the University of Bedfordshire had to say on the matter, and do they think that there's too much TV? Okay, so hello everyone. So what's got us all talking today is whether there is too much TV. So to begin with, I wanted to ask you, how do you watch TV? Do you prefer watching broadcast TV or on-demand TV?
Well, I would say I watch less and less, like what you call kind of live television, and almost all of it is on demand. And even actually I would say the live television I do watch isn't on a TV set anymore. It would be like on a laptop or on a desktop. So yeah, I've definitely made that move across, as I think lots of people have, to just getting used to this idea that the sort of the television schedule, as I remember it growing up, is dead. The idea that at 8 o'clock every Wednesday, tune in for this show, otherwise there's no other way of seeing it. No one like consumes television like that now.
What about you, Nat?
I normally watch a bit on TV, so I do watch a bit of scheduled program on TV, but then most of the time when I'm at work or I'm in my breaks, I do watch a lot of catch-up programs on BBC iPlayer, on phones, tablets and laptop, etc.
What about you, Yemi?
I'm similar to Anthony, where I just watch what I choose to watch at what time I want to watch it, and normal, what they used to call television programs that are, today at 6 o'clock. I just gave up on it.
Obviously, a lot of you mentioned their catch-up services, and obviously there's lots of them now, like Netflix, Amazon Prime. Do you struggle to try and keep up with all the shows they're releasing? Because obviously all of them are like, you must see this.
I wouldn't struggle if they were really good shows. If they were excellent shows, then somehow I would see them. But in my opinion, there's not that much that's very good. And something excellent really stands out, like Game of Thrones. It was a really good show. It was well acted, well made. It seems to stand out because there doesn't seem to be that much that's very good. There's a lot of reality shows, which sometimes is a bit of a cop-out for me of paying some actors.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean though, Nick. There is so much now, and there's so much competition, and new broadcasters have started to appear in the market. You've got Netflix, you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Disney Plus that are just, they've got huge budgets behind them. So they're making all of these like fantastic series, and they're all competing against each other, and they're competing against the existing broadcasters. So all of a sudden, it's great for the viewer, because I think there is like more high quality programming, especially in drama. No question. This is sort of like, we've never had a time like it. So yeah, it is. And yeah, that is the problem. There's so many things that pass me by. But I also do agree with what you said, Yemi, in that if you dig a little deeper into, say, Netflix or Disney Plus, actually beyond the 2 or 3 current big watch me type shows, it really tapers off quite quickly.
What about you, Nash?
I do agree with what Anthony and Yemi said. Like, when it comes to Netflix, I've got so many shows on my watch wish list that I've got so much to watch, but I just never get the time to watch it because there's so many other shows going on that I need to watch. It's just very hard to juggle with so many shows that you want to watch.
Yes, there's definitely a struggle now to try and fit everything in. Obviously, we talked about some of the negatives, so there is some positives from having too much TV. So, for example, it gives more opportunities for people wanting to get into TV, and we're also seeing an increase in diversity on TV. So, would you say there is some positives from too much TV?
Yeah, I think you're right there, and certainly there are, the more TV being made, the more jobs there are in TV. You look at, not far from where we are, based in Luton, down the road in Elstree, that they're building new absolute mega studios, Sky Studios, for drama and for things, and that's because they know that this money's going to keep coming. There's going to be this hunger for drama. So, yeah, it boosts kind of employment in the industry, no question, and that is a good thing. That is one of the positives for having so much television content being produced.
What about you, Yemi? What do you think?
I'd say the positives are what Anthony said, which are industry positives. That, there are people that are getting jobs who wouldn't have had a job if it wasn't for, an increase in budget in a certain show. So I think it's always positive if someone's got a job, but I just think there are also negatives that come off of too much of anything.
Okay. How about you, Nash?
I do agree with Anthony's and Yemi's point, but like, too much TV is good because then you get a more wider range of people that we have in today's society that you wouldn't have in the olden days.
The example I can think of is Channel 4's recent show, It's a Sin. That's been really successful, and that's an LGBT show. And maybe if we didn't have all of this increase in TV, a show like that wouldn't have been produced. So obviously there is some negatives and positives from this. So my final question is to you all. Do you think that there is too much TV? Nash, I'll start with you.
Personally, for me, I feel like there is too much television show, but in a good way.
Okay. Yemi, what do you think?
I think I'm going to try to, if I can deal with this question differently, I just think that it's an imbalance. There's not necessarily too much, but I just think it's still imbalanced. Okay, it's diverse, but it's not diverse enough, in my opinion.
Okay. And then Anthony, I'll come to you. Obviously, as someone who worked in the industry,
there is a lot of television. Maybe there is too much television. There was always lots of TV that you could never have the time to watch. But I think the internet and video content online has changed things so much that Yeah, I think, there's just so much content out there that, I mean, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's hard to say, but there's certainly more TV than we've ever had before, more video content, I always call it.
Let us know whether you feel whether there is too much TV in the comments section below.
So, the panel seemed to vaguely suggest that there is too much TV. I must admit, you could probably spend your life watching TV and barely make a dent with all the content that's out there. And talking of too much TV, my time is up for the week. It's been action-packed, but I need a rest. I think this is the most energetic thing I've done during lockdown. Tragic, really. But once I've recharged my batteries, I will be back with a roundup about all that is great regarding UOB later in the spring with our next edition of Inside Beds. Until then, stay safe and see ya!